All right, what do you do if your 9-year-old decides he's going to drive to school? That is what happened down in Mays, Kansas, just outside of Wichita this week. And it got national news. In fact, I saw it first on Fox News. A 9-year-old boy took matters into his own hands. He missed the bus. Dad was at work. Mom was out of town. And he decides he's going to get in the car and drive himself to school. He was in a white Chevy pickup, and he actually got to the elementary school parking lot, A-OK. But on the way there, somebody called the police and said, yeah, there looks to be like a kid driving a car, so we got a problem here. And by the time the cops got him, he was already at school. And the reason he did this is because, well, Mom wasn't home and Dad wasn't home, and he missed the bus. So he said, all right, got to get myself to school. What do I do? I'm sitting there and I'm like, as a parent, there's a part of you that has to be proud, right? I mean, would you at 9 years old? I mean, maybe you would have walked. Maybe. You would have been like, oh, gosh, now I got to walk 3 miles to school. It's uphill both ways. What do I do? This kid's like, yeah, I'm just going to get in the car and go. Now, he's got to be a big 9-year-old, because how many 9-year-olds could actually reach the pedal, the brake, and also look over the steering wheel at the same time? That in and of itself is something where I'm sitting there and saying to myself, he's got to be a pretty big kid. That's number one. But then number two, he's just like, I got this. There's some swagger there that I respect, John, from the kid.
Well, number three, there was a room party and they were serving cake. So at 9 years old,
didn't want to miss
cake.
out.
Yeah,
exactly right. So I'm like looking at the story and I'm saying, man, you can't praise the kid for at 9 years old getting into a car and driving it to school, because it's illegal, number one. And also, he put a lot of people at risk. Now, would you take the 9-year-old who's definitely white-knuckling that thing versus the 16 or 17-year-old who's texting while driving, who's like, I got this, don't worry? That may be a point to bring up. Not going to take that one away from you. But then there's a proud parent moment where you say, oh, my son missed the bus, and he's like, I got to go to school. I'm not going to sit home and just, blow off school. Whoops, missed the bus. Too bad for me. He's like, I've got a responsibility to get to that classroom. I got to be there. I got to learn. And that's one thing I look at and I say, it's a weird deal as a parent. And I know that these moments will come up. I mean, my kids are little, so I don't have to worry about Claire driving to school for at least a couple more years, like a lot more years, hopefully. But at 6, she's 3 years away from being 9. I can't even fathom it. But you know what? This is also, I know, part of how life is in other parts of the state, more rural parts of the state, where kids are, driving vehicles on the farm and things like that. 913-408-7957. Susie in Blue Springs. Hey, Susie, good morning. You're on KCMO.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I have 6 kids, and my first 5 all knew how to drive, and they have taken the car when they weren't supposed to, but they all knew how to drive by 9 or 10.
So by 9 or 10, I'm genuinely curious. Did you have like a booster? Like, how did they see over the steering wheel in a regular pickup truck?
Tall enough. They were tall enough. When they were little, like 5, 6, they'd sit on my lap, and I'd do the pedals and they'd do the steering, because by the time they were ready to drive, all they had to do was learn how to react to other drivers.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they got their license. So they knew how to drive the car. But my last kid, she came along 11 years later, and we were living in the city. I had to make her get her license at 19.
Wow.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
I'm having to make my grandkids get their licenses at 17, 18, 19 years old. And I'm taking them driving and training them.
What? Hey, you got to get there. You got to give their parents a hard time.
Oh, they say I don't yell as much as their parents.
Well, why aren't the parents? Why aren't the parents dragging them out to get the license? Why are you doing that as grandma?
Because parents work and grandma's always got to go pick them up for stuff. So I figured I'm not doing this forever. Y'all going to get a license.
There you go. I like that, Susie. That's a good approach. So your older 5 were all driving or able to drive vehicles by 9 or 10. Did any of them, and you said some of them did take the car when they should not have taken the car?
Oh, yeah. One of my daughters at 14 took the car, ran into the side of Quick Trip, brought the car home. I had knee surgery, so my 16-year-old was driving me around, and I blamed her, and she got blamed for that car not running right for like 5 years until they finally let me know what happened.
Oh, man. Oh, God. She drove into the side of Quick Trip?
Yeah, she got up to Quick Trip, was like half a mile from the house, and accidentally hit the gas instead of brake and bumped the side of Quick Trip.
There was no, police report? Quick Trip was cool with it, I guess?
I don't think they knew. I think she pulled right back out and went home.
Oh, gotcha. All right, Susie. Hey, thanks for that. I appreciate you.
No problem.
913-408-7957.
That's right, Pete. The motor was still running and reverse worked. We're out of here.
Yeah. Let's get out of Dodge. Get that K-turn going, all right? That's pretty good stuff. That's exactly the caller I was looking for in that spot. And that's why I know a lot of you are nodding your heads right now and saying, yeah, that's me, or that's my kids, or that was me growing up. And that's why this kid in Mays, nothing happened to him. Nothing. The police didn't write any citations. And the police officer, Officer Blackburn, down in Mays, Kansas, said that he's sure that the young man is in tons of trouble with his parents, and they will let the parents determine how to handle this one.
There's country justice.
Exactly. And that's why, I can't be mad at this. I just can't.
Now, up here in the city, if he'd have tried that, they would have busted him for not having a parking lot sticker and parking in the faculty parking lot, probably.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm just curious about his motivation. What possessed him to think, okay, I've got to get there?
Yeah.
At 9.
At 9. And part of you thinks, hey, he's just a good kid. The other part of you thinks what John said. It was cake day. They didn't want to miss out.
A little bit more to it.
Exactly right.
I'm just curious.
With security these days, he had to get there before school started. Otherwise, trying to get into the school late wouldn't have happened. They would have been like, why is he showing up by himself? So
yeah.
He was probably thinking about that, too.
Imagine driving down 435 this morning and you look over and there's a 9-year-old driving the vehicle. I mean, I saw a lot of stuff when I was in Northwest Oklahoma. That was very rural. And there were certainly some things in cars that surprised you, usually related to, a drink of choice. But that would be one where I would do a double take, seeing a 9-year-old.
We used to like to miss the bus on purpose and walk, and it was about 3 miles from Martin City to Grandview. But you could walk it on not on busy streets, back roads, right? And we'd show up as if it were a noble gesture on our part. You get to school at 10:30. Where you been? Well, we missed the bus, but we walked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did our job.
Plenty of things to do on the way, P.S.
Yeah. Took you 2 hours to walk 3 miles back in the day. Must have been some uphill walk you had there, John.
Both ways.
Yep. Oh, my goodness. 913-408-7957, our studio line, and our text line on KCMO. And in an era when we talk about how 30-year-old grown men are living in mom's basement and not working.
Touche.
That's where I'm not coming around on being mad at the kid here. Because this is the kind of problem that we would like to have culturally in this country. The cultural problem we want to have is kids taking too much responsibility, taking too much into their own hands, and saying, I got this. Because the problem we have right now is the complete opposite of that, and it's destroying us as a country and culturally when you got, 7 million able-bodied men who are just not in the workforce right now because they feel like they don't have to do anything.
I got to show this story to Brielle later today and be like, hey, this weekend you're driving to soccer. You gotta take the keys this weekend.
Well, she's what, 12?
Yeah, she's driving herself to work.
Yeah, that's right.
She's reffing, so.
You can she do that or no?
No, she can't drive.
When's she able to do that? 15? She can drive herself?
I think maybe 14 in Kansas. I need to look up the rules.
Well, you should probably look that up.
Permit. I think at 14, somebody's supposed to be with you.
You got to get that going there, Mark.
Yeah. She has driven on the farm though.
Okay.
So she has a little experience.
Up in Iowa?
Yep.
All right. She's got a little experience. That's good. That's good. I mean, my girls, they're dying to get behind the wheel. Right now, all they got is their little Elsa truck. They drive around the driveway in loops and circles. And until that they can keep that thing off the grass that I'm pristinely trying to keep up, I can't let them behind the wheel of a vehicle. You keep that thing on the driveway, we'll have a conversation. All right? But as long as that Elsa truck is doing wheelies in the grass that Dad's trying to make look halfway decent, then I can't put you behind the wheel.
And it's like you said, some kids in this generation don't want to drive. Like one of my nephews didn't get his license till he turned 18. My other one wanted to drive right away when he was 15. So it's kind of like, depends on the kid too.
Every kid's different. That's one thing I'm also learning with 6, 4, and 1 at home. Everyone's different. And you're like, how's this possible? They're all being raised the same. Such is life.